Today, we are going to learn about China's two-child policy that has been introduced on October 29, 2015. But in order to understand this new policy, we have to take a look at the old one. In 1980, the Chinese government introduced a one-child policy to slow population growth. Those who lived in Chinese cities would only be allowed to have one child under this new policy. Those who lived in the countryside would be allowed to have two children, but that is only if the first child is a girl.
The government implemented this new policy by making contraceptives more available. Those who violated the policy would face heavy fines and even loss of employment. There have also been reports of forced abortion and sterilization. However, there were some exceptions. If the firstborn was handicapped, a second would be allowed. Also, parents who belonged to certain ethnic minority groups could have more than one child. Twins were also allowed. According to BBC, it is estimated that 400 million births have been prevented over the years since the implementation of the one-child policy.
This policy did work to slow population growth, but it has had many implications socially and economically. Take a look at this graph of the proportion of male births to female births. Compared to the rest of the world, China has the largest difference. The gender ratio has been skewed towards males. Traditional thought, especially in rural areas, preferred males over females because they acquire the family name, inherit the property, and care for the elders. When restricted to one child, girls become less desirable. This has led to a rise in female abortions, an increase of female children abandoned or placed in orphanages, and even a rise in female infanticide. This graph is sourced from the United Nations Population Division. China has fallen below the world average in the number of children and young people as a percentage of the working population. On the other hand, there has been a growing population of elderly people due to an increased life expectancy. Unfortunately, there are less people to take care of the old.
In 2013, the Chinese government realized these implications and relaxed the policy, allowing couples to have two children if one spouse is an only child. But this was not enough because many families opted to only have one child due to the rising cost of raising a child. China has a highly competitive society, especially with education, and the pressure has caused couples to focus only on one child. On October 29, 2015, the People's Republic of China reformed the policy to allow any married couple to have two children. Abolishing the one-child policy would, quote, increase labor supply and ease the pressures from an aging population, the National Health and Family Planning Commission, which enforces the policy, said in a statement issued after the Communist Party meeting. This will benefit sustained and healthy economic development, the commission said.
The new policy will probably not take effect until 2016. The NHFPC estimated that about 90 million families may qualify for the new child policy, which would help raise the population to an estimated 1.45 billion by 2030. China, the world's most populous nation, had 1.37 billion people at the end of 2014. Though many couples are excited to have a second child, many plan on only having one child due to the similar failures of the policy reform in 2013. One-child families have become the social norm in China. China also has an extremely competitive society. This pressure causes couples to choose to focus all of their time and money into one child. The housing and tuition expenses are too great for many families.
We have yet to see how this new policy will alter China's economy, and China remains hopeful that a burst of children will replenish the nation's workforce and encourage more consumer spending. The increased consumerism created by having more children would benefit the economy and push China to attain its goal of transitioning from a manufacturing and export market to a more consumer-driven market in the future.
American family life has also been affected by this policy, specifically through adoption. In National Public Radio's interview with Adam Kurtman, President and CEO of the National Center on Adoption and Permanency, said, quote, girls who were abandoned as babies wound up being adopted by people all over the world, and no more so than in the United States, which is the biggest adopting country in the world. It really changed the face of adoption in America for a long time. The large numbers of adoptions from China started about 20 years ago. They peaked about 10 years ago, and it's tens of thousands of families over time. The United States has an overall negative view on this issue. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said the policy change is a positive step, but we also need to look forward to the day when birth limits are abandoned altogether. The United States, in our work around the world, continues to oppose coercive birth limitation policies, including things like forced abortion and sterilization. He said, "This would fall in the category of policies that are directly related to universal human rights."
All over the world, as women's rights have become a major issue, this policy will not end the government's control over women's fertility and reproductive rights. These are the various sources we used in this presentation. Thanks for watching. By the way, that's me in China.